Here's part 4 in the Lore and Mythology of Fantasy. Now, basically, they basically create the civilizations, basically modern day of Phi. And with Phi, basically, since it's in another galaxy, it doesn't really follow the same history as like planet Earth or anything. Since it's its own world, it has its own history and culture. Eventually, the Falls eventually begin to splinter into two different races. They mainly fall in basically humans. Basically they also split off into a race called the Elvens. They're basically elves. Now the Elvens, they have their own language, but also become very develop into another race called the Phi. They basically become the native, and as well as also the creation of humans as well. Now the Elvens have their own language, separate from the Phi language. They also have their own creation myths. They also kind of develop their own their own theories as to how planet Fire was created. The Elvens having their own theories about how fire was created. They even theorizing that fire was actually somehow a planet that was merged with another planet. For not only another galaxy, but another universe. However, the humans on Phi eventually develop advanced technologies and start developing kingdom. Now, the kingdoms on Phi that they develop would be on the constitutive continents on the continent of Egar. They basically developed the kingdom of Tal. The most advanced kingdom that basically stretches from Egar's to its basically the mountains of Ikaka to the Ikaka mountains. Basically in the Ikaka mountains, there's also another basically barbarian tribes that come out of the Ikaka mountains. Basically the Ikaka. Basically, barbarian tribes that live in the mountains. Basically, live in the mountain. Of course, barbarian tribes that live in the mountains. They exist in the mountains. They exist in the mountains. The Yakaka developing their own language and customs. The Yakaka are somewhat humanoid. Anyway, how the humans really on Phi, but also stretch into the rest of Phi, developing ships, and even developing airships and naval advanced naval ships, like advanced watercrafts, advanced naval ships that can basically withstand water travel. They can even go under the ocean, which actually leads to the underwater kingdom of. Really leads to the discovery of the underwater world of Ator, the underwater world of Ator, and with the Atorians also have their own language and customs. And the Atorians, they've been trade with the humans on the surface world of Phi.